It's now time for the Weekly with News 6 morning anchor Justin Warmoth.
This is the Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Good morning, I'm Justin Warmoth. Whether it's a relative, friend, or coworker, there's a good chance you know someone who has served our country. They're our nation's heroes, and tomorrow we honor and thank them for their service. This morning, on the eve of Veterans Day, I'd like to introduce you to some of the veterans of WKMG News 6, four gentlemen who I'm lucky to call coworkers.
My name is Derek Revere. I've worked at WKMG for the last 3 years as a production tech.
My name's Steven Monteiro. I've been here at News 6 for just at 2 years, and I am part of the morning team as the traffic safety expert.
My name is Steve Griffiths. I've been working here at WKMG for 15 years as a production technician.
My name is Richard Falley. I've worked at WKMG since this year, and I am an engineer specialist.
I served in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years.
I served in the world's greatest air power, the United States Air Force. I did 4 years active, and then I did 2 years in the active reserve.
I served in the U.S. Navy from 1992 to 1998.
I was in the United States Marine Corps for 5.5 years.
What I remembered most about my time in the Marine Corps is the people I've met, the missions that we worked on to get accomplished together, and the camaraderie, and just meeting interesting people and doing fun stuff.
I get that question asked a lot. What do you remember? I think the first thing that comes to mind is becoming an adult. I think right away at 18, getting attached to such a large and powerful branch of service and given so much responsibility at 18 years old, it changed my life forever.
I remember it was a lot more good times than bad times. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of long days, a lot of tedious work, but we go on deployments 6-7 months at a time, and a lot of that time is just working, doing watches and things like that. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the time I was there.
I remember being overseas for most of that time and just enjoying my time in a handful of countries overseas and getting to see things that most people may or may not be able to see.
Yes, I still use what I've learned in the Marine Corps in everyday life. Commitment. When I say commitment to, your coworkers at your job, commitment to family. When we say honor, it's talking about, being truthful and, being an upstanding person, not just at work, but away from work also. So, yeah.
I can honestly say that every day, whether it's here at News 6 or just out and about, the military shows up somewhere, and whether it be my behavior or how I conduct myself or just maybe my train of thought, absolutely.
I try to. I'm very punctual. I'm always on time, so that's one thing I learned.
I do. I go through, and things I've learned and things I've done in the military has definitely carried over to what I do today and how I act.
I believe veterans make good employees because I think the military, doesn't matter which branch you've been in, gives you a good foundation for life, and it enables you to just basically conduct yourself in a good way. The majority of veterans I've known come out and are good citizens away from the military.
Veterans are so employable and make great employees, not only great employees, but great colleagues and great friends, because I think there's a bigger emotional understanding of self-awareness. It's not just about you, there's a bigger picture, and I think you put value to a lot of things that maybe your everyday person doesn't put value to, whether it's simply being able to walk to the street corner and get something to drink, or being able to walk outside because we live in a free country. There's a lot that goes into it.
I think veterans make good employees because they're disciplined. They work as a team. They know how to get along with other people. They understand the chain of command, and any job has a chain of command. So, things like that really help in the workplace.
I feel that veterans make good employees because of the fact that they go through and there's a work ethic that they learn while in the service and going through and just accomplishing whatever needs to be done. In the Marine Corps, we always said mission accomplishment, no matter how the job gets done. So we go through and do whatever it takes to make sure the job, the task, the goal, whatever it is, gets done.
Veterans Day to me means a lot. The reason I say that is because it reminds me of, the people I've worked with, number one, but also it reminds me of the amount of friends I've lost in battle. And I'm thankful that I'm in the position that I am in now, but I also, reminisce on the people I've met and the friendships I've lost because of war.
Veterans Day for me is a time to recognize everybody that's ever served, whether it's from the early 1800s to right now to future veterans. 8% of the U.S. population, adult population, has served in the armed forces. That's a minute amount of people. And when you start thinking about Veterans Day, it reminds you of how amazing life really is, especially here in the United States. There is no greater country in the world other than what we have right here. And whether they served in a combat location, whether they've served behind a desk or serving chow, we owe that to every veteran.
Besides the obvious, people thanking me for my service and, free meals, free haircuts, things like that. But I think it's also a day for Americans to recognize the sacrifices that veterans have made in the past and are making today for everybody.
Veterans Day goes through, and for me, it's remembering kind of what I've done and what others have done, and just what we have all gone through and done, and the reason why we've served this country.
And to both Steves, Richard, Derek, and all of the veterans of WKMG, thank you again for serving our country. Our Veterans Day special continues right after this. Stay with us.
This is The Weekly on ClickOrlando.com with Justin Warmoth.
Welcome back. Tomorrow we give thanks to those who have served and continue to serve our country. But there are so many people in Central Florida who don't wait until Veterans Day to show their appreciation for our nation's heroes. News 6 photojournalists Paul Giorgio and anchor Matt Austin have given out dozens of Getting Results awards to some of the volunteers. So I wanted to share a few of my favorite stories. We start with how tennis has become a new hobby for veterans looking for an outlet. Here's Matt.
I would like to welcome you to the USTA National Campus. And
if you look across these 6 courts,
I'm just trying to keep it in play. That's all I'm doing.
You'll see all walks of life.
Not bad for an old fat guy, right?
Men, women, some wheelchairs, and even a therapy dog.
John's got some speed.
But one thing everyone here has in common, they are all veterans.
For the last 3 years, I've been out here almost every Monday night.
Yep, every Monday night, the USTA, in conjunction with OUC and the VA, give a free hour clinic to veterans looking for an outlet.
camaraderie, friendship, energy. I don't notice I didn't say tennis.
I'm out here playing tennis with my fellow vets, and I love it.
Here, veterans like Mike McDowell each have their own motivation.
First, I hopefully can lose a little bit of this, what hasn't happened so far. But just the camaraderie with my fellow vets and being around great people, it's a great scene.
It's more like a brotherhood. You come together, you pick on each other, but at the same time, you depend on each other.
And every branch of service is represented here.
Go Air Force!
Each one
And we go, oh, look at that.
has given much for our country. These coaches say an hour a week is a small sacrifice in return.
I'll be honest, we've heard some really amazing stories about lives being saved and just giving them an outlet, you know, for a lot of the stress and anxieties they've had to cope with. And that's one of our great partnership with the VA here.
It's more than a tennis clinic. It's service from the service line. Giving these veterans someone to volley with and someone to talk to.
We finished the night with a hard USA. And man, it brings goosebumps every week because it almost stops this facility because everybody turns. 1, 2, 3! USA! Powerful. Every week, without fail. All right, bleacher time, bleachers.
Unfortunately, there are thousands of veterans in Central Florida who are either low income or homeless. People wanting to help often think about providing them food and shelter, but what about clean clothes? One Brevard County nonprofit is helping those veterans get a clean start.
Good morning. How are you? We're busy this morning, huh?
The cycles of life.
You know, life put me here.
Can be unpredictable. One moment you're up.
This keeps our head above water.
The next, you're struggling.
Low income or no income.
And for times like that,
We need to help Robert with his electric bill. Okay.
Ann King Smith is there.
People just come in and drop off what they have.
Every week, she and a group of volunteers
We're here this morning for Project Suds America.
set up shop in this Brevard County laundromat.
It's a real simple thing, but it's pretty important.
We feel like we've hit the lottery when the change.
Where a fistful of quarters can buy dignity that is priceless.
That's not $5.
Well, most of the time.
I don't think it counted right.
It's a service for those who have little.
We're all broken in some form or fashion.
And everyone here knows a thing or two about service.
Homeless and veterans should never be used in the same sentence, but unfortunately it is.
You see, King Smith has a soft spot for veterans.
My father was a Korean vet, and so I honor his service by helping these guys.
Folks like Navy veteran Will Lindsay.
That is about 2 weeks worth.
He's relied on Project Suds for 2 years.
I had tried to do laundry in my bathtub. That didn't work out.
He nominated King Smith for the Getting Results Award.
If it wasn't for them, who knows where I'd be or any of these guys would be.
This is another burden, that financial cost that I don't have to worry about.
Little things can lead to big change and a clean start when life gets messy.
And I won't be totally happy until they're all in housing, but you feel better. You feel like you're making a difference. Bye, see you next week. As long as we have veterans that have dirty clothes that can't afford to take care of that themselves, we'll be here.
And many veterans rely on doctors, counselors, and specialists at the Orlando VA Medical Center. One doctor, a director of pain management, has found a way to uplift patients in a different way with the power of music.
I thought I understood and appreciated, but not till I joined the VA did I really know.
Service to country and the science of medicine.
I'm looking at several emails that I came in today.
It's a balance Dr. Robert Sproul has come to master.
I basically handle pain management issues.
But to the clinical pharmacist, the art of healing now includes a woodwind.
That is my alto saxophone. That's my baby.
You can literally hear it all throughout the facility, inside and out. It's incredible.
So usually I'm in scrubs, but about once a week I'm in a suit. I'm well known for the fedora.
Sproul has also become known for this. You could call it alternative medicine. Every day you can find him here in the Healing Gardens at the VA Medical Center at Lake Nona. You see, what started as a way to practice quickly caught on with visitors.
And people always hear me in the morning and they'll pop their heads in. I mean, at 5:30 in the morning, come in and introduce themselves, and they're veterans.
Veterans like Lewis Holland.
It helped pull me out of the depression.
We owed them so much. waking up.
Turns out a career in medicine couldn't prepare him for the power of melody.
It's the music that brought me back in the VA.
I'm surprised, and I shouldn't be, how one instrument, the sax out here by itself, can move these people. So it's kind of a real awakening for me. But just play soulfully, and you will touch a veteran. You'll touch anybody. Thank you. I really appreciate what you did for me, man. I don't think.
Just an incredible story and a great reminder to thank a veteran for their service, not just tomorrow, but every chance you get. Before we go, I'd like to thank the veterans watching this morning, including my two favorite, my grandfathers, Navy veteran Leland Warmoth and Navy veteran Wade Sims. I love you guys. And that'll do it for us this morning on this special Veterans Day edition of The Weekly. Have a great Sunday.